Good morning, class 10. Welcome to today's class. I hope you understood whatever is being taught in the earlier class, that is till the chromosomes. We further in the continuation, we are going to start with the topic genes. Okay, so open up your book if you have, or just keep the book ready with yourself, and we are starting up with page number 10 today. So, genes are specific sequences, they are the units of heredity. This is a very important point here. I have highlighted the important points in red. Genes are the units of heredity that are passed on from the parents to the offsprings. They determine characteristics of the offspring. Okay, so your characteristics, your individual characteristics are because of your genes which you have inherited from your parents. Clear? Now coming on to the definition. This definition you need to remember. The definition of genes is genes are specific sequences of nucleotides on a chromosome that encode particular proteins which express in the form of some particular feature of the body. Okay, so this definition is very important and you need to remember word by word. Here the keywords are specific sequence of nucleotides on a chromosome. Okay, these are the most important points. Again, that encode for particular proteins which express in the form of some particular feature. So 3-4 things important here: specific sequences of nucleotides where on the chromosome, what is the function? They encode for certain proteins. Why for? So that there can be certain features present or expressed in the body. Clear? So this is it. DNA is constituted by segments known as genes. If you look at this diagram, we have here the chromosomes. You can see the chromosomes are here. These are the chromosomes, and the coiling is because of the DNA. This is the whole DNA strand. And if we talk about this much stretch, the stretch which is in pink color, this much stretch is a gene. That means out of the whole DNA sequence, throughout the whole DNA sequence, there can be many genes. Some sequences together constitute a gene, or you can say some nucleotides together constitute a gene. See, this is a gene from here till this point. So this is a gene, and gene is a particular portion in the whole chromosome. There can be many genes present. Sequence of nucleotides. Clear? It can be clearer from this diagram also. When we move on to the molecular structure here of the DNA, you have seen that A, T, G, C, here randomly these nucleotides are stacked one above the other. The sequence of these nucleotides is genes. A gene may constitute as may constitute as less than 50 nucleotide bases, or maybe a gene can be as lengthier as 10,000 nucleotides. Okay, so there are sequences of nucleotides which are behaving as genes. Clear? So the question comes here, what is the unit of heredity? So what is the unit of heredity? It is genes. Clear? Let's move on further. Now the next we are going to start about with the next content of this chapter, next portion, next part of this chapter, that is the cell division. Why a cell divide? The first question arises, what is the need? Why the cell is actually dividing? The cell is dividing for 4 different things. The first is for growth. The second is for replacement. The third is for repair. And the fourth is for reproduction. Clear? So these 4 points you need to understand. The easy way to remember: GRRR, GR3, Okay, whatever is your keyword. See, this is a very simple and easy way of remembering things in sequential order. You can make your own key to remember the sequence, to remember certain points. So here you can prepare the key as GR3. That means growth, repair, replacement, reproduction. Okay, these 3 and 4 together, 3 R's and 1 G. Okay, clear? So let us start with the growth. Why at all new cells are needed for growth? What is growth? Growth means in growing. When you are young, you are of short stature, you are a young child, then then with the time you are growing. So how you are growing? Because the number of cells in your body are increasing. Most organisms, actually including plants and animals, begin their life from just a single cell. We are also beginning our life with a single cell only. So what actually happens? What is that single cell we are beginning our life with? Yes, it is a fertilized egg. Now this fertilized egg, the single cell with which we are starting, divides repeatedly to form cluster of cells. Okay, and these cluster of cells, you have already studied about tissues in class 9th. Cluster of cells to perform a specific function is a tissue. They start differentiating into tissue system, and then from tissues they start differentiating into organs, and organ systems constitute organism. Okay, so for that purpose cell division is a must. Okay, now the next, for replacement. During the general wear and tear of the body, during the general working of the cells, old cells are being replaced by the newer cells. Like if we talk about the RBCs, the red blood cells, they have a lifespan of 120 days. After 120 days, the RBCs are automatically being replaced by a newer RBC, which takes the place of the old one. The old one die and are replaced by the new ones. So that is why replacement is necessary. So the older cells are replaced by the new cells, and these new cells are actually formed because of the cell division of the parent cell, where in the bone marrow. RBCs are produced in the bone marrow, that you have to learn. Third is for repair. Apart from the normal wear and tear, which we have already discussed in the replacement, there may be accidental injuries. And whenever there is a cut or a scar, something, a cut or a wound is there in your body, after some time it gets repaired itself. So that is the basic quality of our body. Why? Because then it is again dividing and forming new cells. So repair of such kind of injuries is again through the cell division, which covers up the gap and join the broken ends. So repair. The fourth thing for which this new cell production is needed, cell division is needed, is reproduction. What happens in reproduction? Reproduction is also taking place in amoeba and bacteria, but what happens there in the primitive organisms? They were just dividing like normal. They were just reproducing by normal cell division. So that was also one of the cases. But we, the humans, are or the higher forms, or a banyan tree or any kind of tree or any other animal, when we talk about higher forms of life, the special cells or the reproductive cells undergo certain kind of cell division, that I will tell you what kind of cell division they are undergoing. So this special kind of cell division again forms the sex cells. Okay, the eggs and the sperms, if we talk about humans. So these eggs and the sperms which are formed in the body are because of the cell division, and that is how these four things are necessary factors for which the cells should divide.